UFO and mysterious alien with black box in Finnish, Dyatlov Pass case in the rural Finnish village of Imjärvi 52 years ago. A remarkable incident occurred that left the Western media in utter shock. In the Dyatlov Pass episode, which occurred in the Ural Mountains of Russia, is comparable to this enigmatic incident. Also known as the UFO case of Lake Imjärvi. Arno Heinola, a 36-year-old forester, and Esko Viljo, a 38-year-old farmer, are the main characters of the novel. They went skiing on January 7, 1970. In a forest near the town of Imjärvi, which is located 80 miles northeast of Helsinki and 10 miles north of the city of Heinola. The temperature was -17 and there was no breeze. It was 4:45 p.m. when they noticed a strong light in the sky that was traveling from the north in the shape of a luminous cloud. They also heard an increasing buzz from above. The cloud formed a sizable circle in the sky before descending directly toward the skiers. More buzzing could be heard. The cloud stopped and started to slowly turn, as though swirling. About 15 meters above their heads. It was shining with red-gray radiation. The terrified farmer and forester collapsed into a stupor and stared in silence as a bright metal object that plainly resembled a classic UFO saucer with a diameter of up to 3 meters loomed inside the cloud. As the buzzing persisted, the object abruptly started to slowly fall once more. They could see the object even more clearly after the red-gray fog vanished. 3 to 4 meters above the ground. The UFO was hovering. There was a piercing silence once the buzzing ceased. The object was so close, according to Forester Heinola, that a ski pole might have been used to reach it. A 25-centimeter diameter pipe protruded from the bottom of the ship, spewing a strong light beam. It twice made a circle under the ship that was about a meter in diameter. Then it turned back to a vertical posture. That ray traced a crimson brilliant circle on the snow. A black ring about 1 centimeter wide also emerged around the circumference of the circular. The two witnesses were immobile as they stood at the outermost point of the circle. As they claimed, the beam solidified. The glowing circle started to get smaller after 8 seconds and eventually shrank to a 25-centimeter beam. After then, the beam tore itself from the earth and continued to rise inside the ship while being interrupted by noise until it vanished. Everything happened for a brief moment. The glowing circle started to get smaller after 8 seconds and eventually shrank to a 25-centimeter beam. After then, the beam tore itself from the earth and continued to rise inside the ship while being interrupted by noise until it vanished. Everything happened for a brief moment. The forester then felt as though someone was pulling his body towards them by grabbing him by the waist from behind. He skied back. A beam of light then appeared in the exact same location. A humanoid figure with a black box in his hands then materialized in the snow in the center of the beam. The box had a hole in it through which a pulsing yellowish light emerged. The forester described the creature as being around 90 centimeters long, with slender limbs and legs and a waxy face. The farmer also gave the stranger's description. The thing, according to him, was standing in the center of the beam and glowing like a phosphor figure. He stood at approximately a meter and was extremely slender. His arms resembled those of a young boy, and his face was extremely pale. He was wearing what appeared to be a metal cone-shaped helmet on his head. The creature seemed emotionless at first, but after a short while, he turned to the forester and pointed the box's bright light at him. At the same instant, long, red, green, and purple sparks from the circle the beam had earlier defined began to form on the snow. The light beam started to ascend and sway before dissipating once more. The skiers were unable to see how the ship vanished because of the fog. They also had nausea and limb numbness as a result of the occurrence. They then developed health issues, such as what they characterized as black coffee, colored urine, face swelling, migraines, eyesight, and memory issues. The forester was transferred to the hospital in Heinola that same evening. The forester complained of joint pain and a headache, according to Dr. Pauli Kainoa. According to Dr. Kainoa, the blood pressure showed considerable hypotension, which was brought on by severe shock. The forester acknowledged that he initially mistook the creature for his farmer friend when he first met him because of some reason. Later, he understood that what he had been witnessing was an odd monster rather than the farmer. The forester spotted the farmer once more after the thing had vanished. And the forester's mental ailment was brought on by this alteration in the photos. In particular, the Swedish physicist Sven-Olof Fredriksson, a research member of the GICOFF group in Gothenburg, Sweden, who, in addition to the personal interviews, maintained a lengthy correspondence with the witnesses and other qualified investigators, until squeezing all the possibilities of the case. This case was later investigated by scientists. The truth is that the type of illness the two individuals had is incredibly challenging to accurately identify. In order to prevent serious illnesses, I actually preferred not to prescribe anything specific. Olaf Fredriksson stated, I believed the best course of action was to concentrate on tranquilizers as the most efficient therapy for her mental state. At the University of Helsinki, Matti Turi teaches electronics. He said after reviewing the case file, it is not possible to rule out the likelihood that Heinonen and Viljo received an electric shock. It must be ruled out that it is ultraviolet radiation, which always has a bluish hue because the two men concur that the light was white and brilliant. However, this kind of radiation does not penetrate garments. It must have been shorter, higher frequency waves, like Ravos X, if the radiation that the witnesses were exposed to made it through. Additionally, Heinonen and Viljo's symptoms are typical of an overdose. The Imjärvi case is unquestionable, a lovely case, in which the pollster's deft handling of a number of the UFO phenomenon's more traditional oddities has been paired with an understanding of some of its classic strangeness. We could only hope that a scientist had been present to see this incident rather than a forester and a farmer.